Okay guys, down there at JJ Customs, and what's new in this week? Well, we've got the Carisma Lynx, or the Carisma Zombie as I will call it in a minute, because of all the zombie patterns and stickers around the side of the car. And we've got the RC 4-wheel drive Marlin. First question guys, which one would you buy? I'd like to hear from you as to which, visually, which would set your heart racing, where would you put your money on these trucks? Have you say in the comment section right now. To my mind, I actually like this one the better out of the two, even though this is arguably the more scale truck. Anyway, I'm going to put them both down on the stand and we'll have a good poke around both cars, check out what's inside, and check out the suspension travel on them as well. And as ever guys, if you like this stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, let's get the Carisma Lynx on the stand first of all. Next up, the RC 4-wheel drive Marlin. Okay guys, first up we have the Carisma Lynx, or as Marvin and me would call it, the Carisma Zombie, because you'll notice it's got the zombie killer logos in that red all over the body, which really make it stand out, slightly more to my mind than the Toyota Hilux from RC 4-wheel drive. So while it's called the Carisma Lynx, we do wonder if people nickname it the Carisma Zombie. And check out those tyres and beadle-up wheels while we're here. Anyway, time to get that body off, see what's under the skin. Okay guys, so I've no idea what to expect here. Never seen the inside of a Carisma crawler, but I'm guessing we've got a fairly conventional setup on here. Let's move round to the front. Okay, we've got our fairly detailed scale bumper there. Looks like we've got slots where you can fit LED lights on at the front if you want. Front mounted servo. Looks like we've got that directly above the axle for weight balance. Oh, threaded shocks, threaded adjustable shocks on there guys. So that's always a good sign. Moving on back. Moving on back there, we've got our ASC on the left, waterproof receiver box on the right. Car is ready to run and comes supplied complete with a nickel metal hydride battery, which is mounted along the spine of the car, but over the rear wheels there. And we've got a few neat little scale features built inside the car here, which is like the neat little run boards either side of the car on the left and the right to protect from rough and tumble. You've also got adjustable body pillars both front and rear, if allowing you to fit other bodies. There is our rear mounted battery tray, as I said, along the centre of the car for weight balance, but at the same time keeping the weight over the rear wheels to aid the grip on the 4-wheel drive. Okay, quickly panning down the underside of the car, so we've got a solid axle there, traditional four-link setup. My only comment would be, it would be much nicer if that centre segment there was much smoother to stop it catching on rocks. Moving down to the rear, again, folding setup on there. Solid rear axle. Lock diffs all round, I am assuming. Okay, quick suspension test for you guys. This is going to have more movement than the RC 4-wheel drive vehicle. It's got about an inch there, because this has got traditional coil over shocks on it. So about an inch of travel. Out the rear there. See, not huge movement on these things, but then that is not what they're about. It's where they come out, the movement shows itself on the trail. Okay, turning it around, check the front out. Lift that rear front until the rear just lifts. Oh, a little bit more on there. Coming up on 2 inches of travel on the front on there. As I say, you will be surprised at how much travel this has compared to the RC 4-wheel drive, which you shall see in just 1 minute. Okay guys, well, give me your first thoughts and first impressions on the RC 4-wheel drive Marlin. Now, I do apologise, I will show you as much details as I can on this car, but as we'll talk about in a minute, the body does not easily come off. One of the prices you pay for the thing being super scale. Speaking of which, that looks a very super scale Toyota Hilux. And check out the tire tread, and those beadle-up wheels look gorgeous to my mind there guys. Anyone got one of these? I would love to hear from you. What it's like to drive, your first impressions on it, etc. And the car's even got a scale steering wheel and dashboard fitted in there. No seats though, but you could fit your own scale interior. Okay guys, I know RC 4-wheel drive by name, but not too much about the actual models on here. So do have your say in the comment section below the video. We've got a steering servo at the top there, mounted actually in the front of the front axle. The same with the motor on there. So you've got a lot of the weight of the electrics right at the front of the car. Steel solid axle on there, lock diffs, I am assuming, and gearbox tucked away down there. And behind here we've got our ESC, our on off switch on the bottom there. Moving on back, we've got our front and rear transfer case, and you will note this has got leaf springs both at the front and at the rear, and those scale looking dampers as well. Our receiver tucked right away at the back there. For a minute as to where the battery went, but the battery actually sits across the truck on the other side of this panel. But in order to get access to that, well, you've got two body clips here. To remove the rest of it, you've got to unscrew it. So I'm not going to go to the extent of that today. So to fit the battery, undo the two clips. I think Marvin said there's 4 screws on the side to fit the battery, which then sits through in that little flat plate going across there. Okay guys, when it comes to the suspension test, straight away there we appear to have only got about ½ an inch of ground clearance on the front there. This is because with the traditional spring setup they've got, they're giving that scale feel and look to it. The car doesn't appear to have a huge amount of movement on there. You've probably got closer to 1.5 inches of actual movement if you lean the thing over really hard when you saw me pushing the body up and down there. At the rear we've maybe got a little bit more, maybe on 1 inch at the rear before the thing begins to lift. Purely because you don't have the same level of movement as you have with traditional coil over shocks. Hope that makes sense. Very different cars, the RC4WD Drive Marlin and the Carisma Lynx, or the Carisma Zombie as I think it will be called. This is $299, ready to run, and the RC4WD Drive Marlin is $499. If you want to see either of these cars in person, or in fact any of the cars down here at JJ Customs, every single one that's out here for sale is a new car, but the one key thing, they're all out of the boxes. So just like these two, you can come down, take them off the shelves, take the lid off and have a good look around the car before making your purchase decision. So guys, as asked at the start, which one of these two cars would you buy if you had the money? Well, thumbs up if you like this video guys, post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell. And if either of these crawlers rings your bell, then give JJ Customs a call, or send them an email, or do check them out online if you can't make it down there in person.